Welcome to Birmingham Mind. I'm Tom Fisher. I'm here to discuss the proposed cuts to Birmingham City Council. They've already been cut by 590 million, and I'm here today with my three guests, Katherine Bell, David Bird and Anthony Dwyer, to discuss how it affects them. So Katherine, how do you feel the proposed cuts will affect you?
So I'm concerned that the proposed cuts will affect my accommodation that I'm living in at the moment. I'm concerned that the cuts may affect the support I'm receiving, and I'm worried about the future of what will happen if these cuts are made.
Katherine, if these services didn't exist, how do you feel that people with mental health issues would be affected?
I feel that if these services didn't exist, people with mental health problems would be affected in terms of there would be a rise in homelessness, there would be less community connections, and there would be less places for people to go with mental health problems for support.
What have you achieved so far with your support, and what part did Birmingham Mind play in that?
So when I first relocated back to Birmingham, I was quite socially isolated. I didn't have that many friends or people to do things with. From being paranoid, I now feel safe in the accommodation where I live, and I can go out and I can do things with my day, whereas before I wasn't able to do that. I was socially isolated. Through the support of Birmingham Mind, I've now got quite a wide network of different people.
Katherine, thanks for coming in today. It was really nice talking to you. Best of luck. So Dave, tell me, how do you feel the proposed cuts will affect you and other people in mental health recovery?
They will affect me directly by not being able to become a peer mentor, a paid post. A direct result of that, not only for myself but for service users, would be that I wouldn't be able to come full circle. I wouldn't be able to become a productive member of society. As things stand at the moment, if that happens, as I've mentioned, I wouldn't be able to become an effective member of the community, but also the council would lose out because I would be able to effectively boost their coffers, if you like, by paying rent, by paying council tax, which seems to get overlooked.
Dave, you mentioned that you're an ex-service user. How do you think these cuts are going to affect other people with mental health issues?
Now, I can speak from experience from this, and they would be affected by becoming what I like to call the forgotten. The members of society that people know exist but choose not to acknowledge, which is what I was. You become assigned to your fate. You become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So say, for example, you're depressed. You become resigned to that depression, and it's a circle of events. Because you're not showing signs actually of physical symptoms, you're not deemed an emergency case. So you fall through the cracks like I did for 8 years. So it will affect those people in exactly the same way it affected me.
So Dave, what have you achieved so far with your support, and how was Birmingham Mind involved in that?
Birmingham Mind has played a huge role for me, and for 8 years I was one of those forgotten. It wasn't until I visited a GP who at that time had been visited by Mind's esteemed team service. He handed me the leaflet and suggested I call them, which I did. Biggest effect Mind had for me was just that one person who came and listened and believed what I was saying and gave me the respect. It gave me the impetus to actually follow the steps that she was giving. In less than a year, I'd secured a flat of my own. I'd made a nice, comfortable home. I became a secured tenant this year. I've made enormous strides socially. I've reconnected with my family, which I never thought would happen. And just, as I said, just that one person who had or saw something in me and said, no, you don't have to live like this, you don't have to accept this life. I can suggest you can go this way, I can suggest this path to improve it, but it's up to you to follow it.
Dave, thanks for coming in, and I wish you the best of luck in your new role. Anthony, as a person who supports those with mental health issues, how do you feel the cuts are going to affect them?
I think any reduction in the current level of service would create a degree of uncertainty and anxiety in all of our service users and tenants as they rely on week-to-week support in order to manage their tenancies and their conditions.
You mentioned, Anthony, that you're an ex-service user who now supports other people with mental health issues. How do you feel people would be affected if these services didn't exist?
Many vulnerable tenants only manage to function with any degree of independence directly as a result of the support that they receive from Birmingham Mind and the support workers. And if that support is taken away, I would worry for the consequences. I've always suffered with depression, and I've used Birmingham Mind services myself. I had a support worker when I was discharged from hospital a few years ago. And as a result of that support, I was encouraged to apply to Mind for a job as a support worker myself, which I did, and I've been doing that for 7 years now.
Anthony, thanks for coming in to chat with us.